The IDGA, let's try that one more time. The IDGA puts out a call to studio leaders saying leadership must prioritize sustainability efforts to prevent layoffs.
So the IDGA, a nonprofit organization representing thousands of game developers worldwide, is calling on studio leaders to prioritize sustainable efforts to prevent layoffs. With over 8,700 game developers impacted by layoffs this year, the organization emphasizes the gravity of the situation and its impact on the industry. Layoffs can lead to skill gaps and underrepresentation of diversity demographics within the games industry. Studios must understand that periods of accelerated growth are usually followed by periods of stagnation or decline and plan accordingly to avoid drastic headcount reductions. Maintaining multiple projects can reduce risk and headcount fluctuations, providing a better chance of success and utilizing talent effectively. Transparent communication with your team is essential, addressing concerns related to well being and job security. So, reading about this is a very intriguing point because, again, like in some of the quick hits, we are topic of conversation every week: layoffs, layoffs, layoffs. More
Yep.
studios are laying off, or studios are just shutting down. Like to spoil one of them, the Immortals of AVM Dev pretty much furloughed their entire staff, pretty much reportedly.
Jeez.
Yeah, so it's ridiculous, and some of it is financial decline. Some of it is like, hey, we went all in on this project and it didn't have a good ROI, so now we unfortunately have to shutter the doors, or pretty much let everyone go. But others are, like it said, being greedy because, like we talked about, I think it was last week or maybe the week before, COVID brought in a bunch of, because that's what it brought in, a bunch of jobs, and everyone was staffing up because they were like, hey, let's put a bunch of projects because that's all anyone's doing right now is game. And now that everyone's back to work or back to a somewhat normal lifestyle, that has gone away. Gaming hours have been reduced. And yes, still people work from home, but it's not as frequent because you can go outside, touch grass, go out to eat, kiss your loved ones, that kind of thing. So it is reducing projects, and I do agree with that point of, don't spread yourself too thin. Don't greenlight 4 or 5 projects when you don't have the staff. And then even if you do hire a bunch of staff, and then it's like, well, this is not going to be greenlit, or this is not the vision we had in mind, or we want to do this genre, we want to enter this genre of live service, but now it's not sustainable, or people don't like this aspect of it anymore, and we were going to have it in our game, so we got to just 86 it and get rid of everyone on staff.
Yeah.
This pretty much says, and in a degree, people have been doing this, like even before, like massive layoffs, like since the Activision debacle, since other studios have had like toxic work culture, they have been doing a call to arms with unionizing, and some have already done that. But I think the IDGA is wanting to do this on a broader spectrum, just make it an industry-wide thing rather than just leave it up to certain studios to their own devices to do this.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of this is publishers that own developers.
Yeah.
That are pushing this kind of behavior, because most developers, 9 times out of 10, they've, leadership has risen through the ranks of being a developer. So they might not have the best sense of what is healthy as a leader because they've been treated that same way. It's like, oh, well, this is how it's done. And they don't understand business because they've been developing games. They're game developers, not businessmen. And understanding how to have longevity is important because there are going to be ebbs and flows with any kind of industry. And especially when there's a big boom, there's a lot of people, buying games, especially during COVID, a lot of people had excessive time and a lot of money that, has caused inflation now. But people were looking for ways to distract themselves. Now everybody's paying for that time that they were staying at home by going back to work in office, trying to make back money and all of that sort of deal. But if leadership actually understands, hey, yeah, there's going to be those, feast or famine times, but if we plan accordingly, if we store
Yeah.
things up, if we have projects that actually can make money, can actually
Hmm.
do well, then we won't have to reduce headcount continually. And unions, I think, are important, but at the same time, it definitely can paint a target on specific people that
Right.
unionize. We've seen it with Google. There was a union that formed there. They automatically got fired like the next week. We've seen it with IGN as well. They unionized, and then a few days, a week or so later, they started firing people. So it's unions are there to help, but it also, I'm not saying don't unionize. That don't take that from this,
Yeah.
but it's like you have to know how to work within the system and
Yeah.
work with that, but it also comes from leadership. It's not just the
Correct.
employees' job to help, make their, place stable. It's the leadership.
Right.
And we're constantly told that we have to overperform to keep our jobs, not to even get raises. We have to continue to be efficient. We got to keep doing X, Y, and Z and all of that. But it's
Hmm.
like, it at some point you can only squeeze so much out of a rag.
Correct. So, and that's the thing too, is because you could say that ask the figureheads to be patient, temper expectations, but when corporate greed sets in, they're not going to see all they're going to see is dollar signs. They're not going to
Yep.
care that, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this project or maybe we are stretched too thin. It's just like get the job done. Like
Yeah.
find a way to do it, and if not, we'll just nix it and go on about the next thing.
Yeah, we'll find somebody else.
Yeah.
It might not be complete layoffs, it might be just replacing people that will
Yeah.
say yes. And that's you get a lot of yes man projects,
Oh yeah.
like Immortals of Avium. Yes man
Yeah.
project. Forspoken, I feel like was a yes man project as well.
Hmm.
Cool ideas, but does it deserve to be a video game?
Yeah.
Maybe not,
Especially
and
a
that's
$70 video game.
yeah. And you get to this point where layoffs, like this industry should not be going through this much layoffs.
No.
You
I
know,
was
we,
gonna ask. I was gonna ask. We're already at 8,700. Probably within the next couple weeks, we'll probably by May. It'll be 10,000. Like when December 31st hits, what do you think the layoff total will be in the games industry?
like just this year or this year and last year.
Just this year.
I'm saying at least 18,000.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I figure since we're already 4 months in and barely not even 4 months in, and we're already at 10, almost at 10,000. I figure that'll be doubled by the end of the year.